I didn't realize at the time that what I had to go through had nothing to do with losing weight and everything to do with who I had to become. At 39, I had the perfect life, the perfect life. I was on top of the world. I was the FBI's chief of staff for the counterintelligence program office, literally my dream job to work at the FBI since I was 17 years old. I had just quote unquote retired from competitive mountain bike racing. So I was still very athletic. I had a smoking bod, if I must say so myself, and I felt unstoppable. I had moved in with my fiance, who was a Green Beret, and my soon-to-be stepson. And I felt like God just shined this light down on my life. Like, well done, girl. You deserve all of the happiness in the world. I mean, if I could have asked for a more perfect life, there was nothing that I would have added. And then I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And then I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease. And then my health suffered. And then I resigned from the FBI. And then I completely abandoned myself. And then I gained weight. And then I gained more weight. And then I gave up. And then I got divorced. And then I had a choice. Well, technically, I guess I had the choice all along. It took me several years to realize that I actually did have a choice and to finally do something about it. And I started by focusing all of my efforts on losing the weight because I thought, when I lose this weight, then I'll be happy. Then I can pick my life back up. I had become a certified holistic health coach. I actually had 4 different certifications in health, between the health and nutrition and metabolic health. So I was doing healthy health coach stuff. And it was downright embarrassing because I'm disciplined in all of these other areas of my life, but I could not control myself around food. I just kept eating. I ate my emotions on a daily basis and I could not stop. I mean, nothing that I had learned in my 4 certifications in nutrition and weight loss, nothing worked to help curb those sugar cravings, to help stop the emotional eating. Nothing helped me to lose the weight. So I went back to what I was really good at, and that is patterns, and specifically the pattern analysis that we used in the FBI to catch spies. And what I did was I reverse engineered it to figure out why I can't control my emotional eating, why I couldn't lose weight, and what actually got me here in the first place. I had majored in psychology in college, but I mean, I literally didn't know anything about brain science other than it's like this squiggly thing in our head. But the more patterns that I connected, the more I learned about neuroplasticity and how it worked. And the more I learned about how our brain works, about the sequence our brain uses for those patterns and to actually predict behavior. The more I learned all about this, I realized something. And that is the emotional eating and the sugar craving part of your brain. It does not respond to diets, willpowers, or calories. And because of this, weight loss doesn't happen because it's some external thing that we do. Weight loss happens because it is an internal thing that we become. By the way, if you're getting value out of this video, hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. I cracked the code. I didn't just get back to the healthy weight that I used to be when I was a competitive mountain bike racer. I completely obliterated the cravings and the emotional eating. This is the difference between losing weight, because so often we're like, oh, I just want to lose the weight. Well, there's also being able to maintain it, being able to keep it off, being able to sustain that healthy weight and that lifestyle. Now, fast forward to today. I've helped hundreds of women achieve similar results. Here's where I get stuck, though. During this whole process, here is where I got stuck. And this is also where I see so many women think the exact same way. We believe that we are not worthy of losing weight. We believe that our value is tied to what the scale says. We believe that weight loss is just this big goal that we put on a pedestal. We believe we are only going to be happy when we lose the weight. We believe that our relationships are going to be fixed when we lose the weight. We believe that just being overweight is normal. We think that it's normal and that it's normalized. We believe that if we keep dieting, somehow it's all going to be fixed. We say that we want to be healthier, but we don't actually believe that we can. My friend, I am here to tell you that a healthy weight, it isn't just your birthright. It is actually your calling. It is not something that you earn. This is something that you embody. You see, when I was overweight, the only things I could think about was what was I going to eat, when I was going to eat, how much I was going to eat, how much I hated being overweight, how much I hated how fat I looked, and how much I hated my gut sticking out. Those thoughts consumed my life. And on the outside, I looked like I had it all together. But on the inside, I was insecure. I was playing small. I was trying to hide. I felt so much shame for how I had let myself go. And I'm living out of integrity with myself. It was like every day I woke up, I had to perpetuate this lie that everything is fine. And when I was living in that story, I wasn't able to be the best version of myself, not just for myself, but for everyone else in my world. And you want to know what's crazy? Back when I was thin and athletic, I was also an emotional eater. I was also out of integrity with myself. The thoughts of food and consuming food and treats, it was all of the time. But the difference was that I was able to keep the weight off because I was a competitive athlete. I was training all of the time, exercising all the time. Humans are not designed to consume all of this junk food and the processed food and the sugar and the chemicals that we do today. It is not natural. According to the CDC, 72% of Americans are either overweight or obese. 72%. Let that sink in. And when looking at just obesity, 40% of American adults meet the clinical definition. And I want you to look around at what people look like today compared to either what you remember or photos that you've seen from the 70s and 80s, even before then. The 70s and 80s were the last 2 decades. Because the rates back then were so much lower. The 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, the obesity rate was just under 15%. But in the 90s is when it really started to spike. And it's because back then, we ate real food. We didn't have all of the processed food. We didn't have the kind of food addiction and emotional eating problems at the scale and at the volume that we face today. A treat was literally a treat. It was one cookie. It wasn't the entire sleeve. It was a scoop of ice cream. It wasn't the entire pint. This has all been manufactured for decades, meaning this is your birthright to actually be at your healthiest weight. Now, I did not say thin. I'm not about thin. I said your healthiest weight, the weight where you look and feel your best, the weight where you are living your best life without any kind of restriction and without anything holding you back. And if this is something that you want for yourself, I want this for you too. Here's the thing. If the weight loss industry was actually doing its job, women would be eating over 100 grams of protein every single day. Low fat would not be a thing. Red meat would not be demonized. Real food would be prioritized over chemicals. A woman's value would not be based on the scale. And the Ozempics and the GLP-1s would not need to exist. Obviously, this system is not working. And it is time for a new playbook. If you know you're meant for more, if you've been looking for this new playbook, I created a space for women like you. I have a brand new and totally free resource for you. I created a Substack channel, and it is called Weight Loss Forensics. Yes, the same name as the podcast. I wanted a quiet space for women like you who are just done with the nonsense, done with the noise of social media. A place where there's no doom scrolling, no fake AI crap, no ads, just real content, real conversation, and thought leadership. And you can subscribe to my channel totally free. I'm going to leave the link below this video. And here's the other cool thing too, is that I also have a paid community, and it's just a few dollars a month. When you become an insider, you are going to get weekly lives every single Friday morning. And in those lives, we're going to go live for 5 or 10 minutes. You've got EFT tappings, you've got clearings, you've got visualizations, and exercises to help you curb your emotional eating. And we're specifically doing it Friday morning so that you can set your weekend up for success. And then you have access to the full replay vault of all of these lives. And again, the paid insider, it's only a few dollars a month. This is my life's work. This is my life's mission. I am here to help you step into your next best version of yourself. And I know you can do this. So let's go. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Holly Bertone, and this is Weight Loss Forensics.